Picture this. It is late at night. Your laptop glow is the only light in the room, and you're staring at a chat window with the most powerful AI model you have ever used. You type, "Fix my business, fix my workflow, fix my life." The answers pour in. Strategies, content, roadmaps, automations. It feels like you have summoned a digital savior. But here is the twist almost nobody wants to face. This system is not saving you. It is just reflecting you back at high speed and industrial scale. Right now, billions of dollars are chasing one lopsided dream: perfectly aligned AI running on top of utterly misaligned humans. OpenAI, Google, Anthropic, Meta, they are all pouring money into guardrails, red teaming, and safety layers. But the people deploying these tools? They are still running on fuzzy incentives, half-baked strategies, and emotional whiplash from the news cycle. In a minute, I will show you why that mismatch is exactly why your AI tools feel chaotic instead of clarifying, and why the real alignment problem starts inside your own head. We talk about aligning models to human values like those values exist in a neat little configuration file somewhere. But even your own priorities collide hour to hour. One moment you want productivity, the next you crave rest. You say you value truth, but tribal loyalty tugs in the opposite direction. Scale that inner conflict to a company or a country, and alignment stops looking like math and starts looking like a group therapy session nobody signed up for. Here is the pattern break. Powerful AI in that context does not heal anything. It just hits fast forward on whatever mess is already there. Think of AI as a high-speed mirror. Point it at a focused founder with a clear roadmap, and it compresses months of research, writing, and iteration into days. Point it at a leader addicted to shiny objects, and it multiplies half-started projects, conflicting priorities, and unread dashboards until the whole team feels like a browser with 400 tabs open. This is not abstract. It shows up in your calendar, your inbox, and the way you actually use these tools. And here is where the stakes get real. Your daily productivity now depends less on model context windows and more on your own personal context. Look at how most people secretly use AI today: to dodge hard decisions with endless brainstorm prompts, to crank out more low-quality content faster, to procrastinate under the respectable label of research. Those are alignment failures, just not the kind that show up in technical benchmarks. Until you align your own values, attention, and incentives, every new model upgrade mostly upgrades your existing dysfunction. But here is the part nobody expected. That misalignment is not just inefficient. It is actively dangerous when you strap a generative engine on top of it. Call AI an accelerator, not a savior. Feed it a fuzzy strategy, and you do not get clarity. You get chaos at scale. Picture a startup with no real positioning, no clear ideal customer, no offer anyone can explain in under 10 seconds. The founder prompts, write blog posts about our innovative platform, and cranks out 1,000 search-optimized articles in a month. Traffic goes up, conversions stay flat, and now their analytics are a landfill of vague content no one can interpret. In a moment, I will show you why this same pattern quietly wrecks big marketing teams too. Now, zoom out to a large marketing team chasing fear of missing out. A chief marketing officer sees competitors bragging about AI on LinkedIn, buys an enterprise license, and orders AI content for every channel. Within weeks, they have hundreds of near duplicate landing pages, generic email sequences, and slide decks no salesperson actually uses. None of that fixes a broken funnel, unclear brand, or bad pricing. It just hides those problems under more tokens. This changes who gets hired next, because the real bottleneck is no longer the model. It is the operator's psychology. Ethan Nelson keeps hammering this point. The limiting factor is rarely the model, it is your fear of missing out, your distraction, your shiny object syndrome. When your internal alignment is do everything, everywhere, right now, AI obliges by doing exactly that badly and at industrial speed. And here is the uncomfortable pattern break. AI has no lived context to tell you your foundation is rotten. It cannot see that your sales team ignores leads or that your product does not solve a real problem. All it sees is whatever prompts and documents you choose to expose. Treat a language model like a strategist, and you will get fluent nonsense that sounds right enough to pass a skim. Treat it like a power tool attached to a clear blueprint, and it can compress months of execution into days. The difference is not in the model weights. It is in how aligned you are with what you actually want built. So before you chase the next magic algorithm, ask yourself a harder question. Do you have a vision worth accelerating, or are you just hoping the tool will give you one? Magic algorithm thinking is just the old silver bullet fantasy with better branding. Every quarter brings a new ChatGPT killer or AI copilot for everything, promising that if you just plug it in, your broken product strategy, chaotic team, or unfocused career will suddenly click into place. It never does, because no model patch can fix a vision that does not exist. Instead, AI makes a familiar problem worse. Tutorial hell. You bounce from 10x your workflow videos to top 50 prompt packs, building half-baked dashboards and agents that never survive contact with real customers. Here is the payoff most people miss. The barrier to starting a new AI project has dropped close to zero, but the barrier to finishing a meaningful one has barely moved. Shallow familiarity with 25 tools does not equal 1 hour of deep work on a coherent roadmap. The people actually getting leverage look boring from the outside. They pick a narrow problem, like sales funnels, medical coding, or chip design, and grind on it with 1 or 2 models, thousands of real examples, and brutal feedback loops. They treat AI as infrastructure for a strategy they already trust, not as a substitute for having one. Zoom out again, and that same flailing shows up in governments and big companies. Regulators argue about model sizes and watermarking while dodging harder questions about power, labor, and surveillance. Even policy papers on value alignment quietly admit we do not agree on the shared human goals part. Society is stuck in its own tutorial hell, with endless pilots, ethics boards, and frameworks, but very little long-term direction. Until we align our incentives and values, aligning models mostly means teaching them to reflect our confusion more efficiently. Talk about AI alignment long enough, and you hit a more uncomfortable question. Aligned to whom and to what exactly? We demand ethical AI while running companies that reward quarterly growth, engagement spikes, and cost cutting above almost everything else. Ask an engineer to align to human values, and you have handed them a moving target. Values shift across cultures, departments, even time of day. That is not a spec sheet. That is a mood board. And when your incentives quietly reward outrage, spam, or surveillance, your models will learn that no matter what the press release says. Researchers in AI ethics keep pointing out that biased outputs usually mirror biased inputs and institutions. Facial recognition systems that fail more often on darker-skinned women than on lighter-skinned men are not rogue. They are reflecting skewed training data and hiring patterns. Recruitment models that downgrade resumes from women or minority candidates are often just encoding decades of promotion bias. Same with spam and scams. Generative content farms explode not because the model went bad, but because ad networks and weak enforcement make them profitable. In other words, you are not just aligning code, you are aligning business models. Now, let us bring it back to your brain on AI. Right now, it looks less like a sleek command center and more like 47 browser tabs melting your mental memory. Every week brings a new model, plugin, or AI operating system, each promising a 10x boost if you just rewire your workflow one more time. That constant churn drives decision fatigue, which research shows can cut choice quality by up to 20% over a workday. Fear of falling behind pours gasoline on it, turning your Slack and LinkedIn feeds into a rolling panic attack. Instead of a clear strategy, most people bounce between new chatbots, prompt packs, and viral hacks on social platforms. Rapid context switching carries a brutal cognitive cost. Studies on task switching show performance drops of around 40% and time losses of up to 25 minutes to fully regain focus after an interruption. That means your AI experiments can quietly be making you dumber and slower, even while you feel busier and more high-tech. The surprising payoff is this. Before you touch another model, the highest leverage move is cleaning up your own mental environment. Ethan Nelson calls this cognitive hygiene, clarity on goals, constraints, and what better actually means for your work. Self-alignment sounds soft, but it behaves like infrastructure. If you do not define your priorities, boundaries, and risk tolerance, the pace of AI change does not translate into breakthroughs. It just accelerates burnout. You get more alerts, more drafts, more options without more wisdom. So the next time you feel that urge to sign up for one more AI beta, ask instead, what are the 3 outcomes I truly care about this quarter? Most AI advice skips the boring part, your inner operating system. Values, discipline, Emotional regulation, they sound like soft skills, but they are actually low-level firmware. If that firmware is buggy, every workflow you bolt on inherits the glitch. Think of your personal or company values as a constitution for AI. Not a poster in the lobby, but a decision engine you can translate into prompts, policies, and access rules. Without that, you get exactly what we see now: powerful models strapped to whatever incentive pays fastest. Here is how that looks in practice. If you truly value deep customer relationships, you do not deploy a model to blast 500,000 identical cold emails. You use AI to research context, summarize prior interactions, and draft thoughtful notes that a human then personalizes. If your newsroom values trust, you do not auto-generate 1,000 search bait posts a day. You use AI to surface primary sources, check claims, and flag conflicts, while humans keep authorship and accountability. This is alignment as behavior, not branding. You can even translate values into explicit constraints. No deceptive personalization means no AI-written emails pretending to be from a human who never saw them. Long-term customer value means no models optimized only for short-term click-through. Psychological safety means no nudges that deliberately exploit known cognitive vulnerabilities. Technical alignment work, like constitutional AI, is really just an attempt to codify that inner clarity in machine-readable form. The models are doing value engineering we avoided. So, what is your first move in this alignment game? It is not buying another license or installing another plugin. It is writing your inner blueprint. One page that says, here is what we are trying to achieve. Here are the trade-offs we accept. Here is what we never want this system to do, even if it is profitable. Once you have that, AI becomes a force multiplier instead of a chaos engine. Without it, every new tool is just a faster mirror, reflecting back your scattered attention. If this clicked for you, here is your challenge for today. Before you open your favorite AI tool again, write down 3 sentences. What outcome am I using this for? What am I absolutely not willing to sacrifice to get it? And how will I know if this actually helped? That tiny act of self-alignment is your personal guardrail. It is how you stop chasing a digital savior and start using a very powerful mirror on purpose. If you want more on building vision first AI strategies and on how this shift will reshape who thrives and who burns out over the next few years, let me know in the comments. Tell me where you feel the most AI chaos in your own work and what inner guardrail you plan to install first. And if you found this helpful, subscribe so you do not get lost in the next wave of hype, because the story of AI is moving fast, but the real plot twist is this: the future will not belong to people with the most powerful models. It will belong to the people most aligned with themselves.